really sort of a not so good game, yeah, he'll have a bad game. But let's hope the boys get behind him and support him.
No, I actually like I like I like him at fullback. To be quite honest, in fact, well, just as long as he gets on the paddock, really, eh? I mean, it doesn't matter where they kind of stick him. Um, you know, he's just got that. I don't know what do you call it. He's quite a dynamo, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he's an exciting player to watch, and that's why a lot of people, enjoy sort of when he does make the starting lineup. And in terms of his defensive game, he gives it a go for his size, but herein lies the problem, his size. And, you get a couple of those big wobbly forwards and even backs running towards you, he'll tend to be a little bit sort of exposed, but not for one to give him a go. He'll try and take the tackle, but, his size usually sort of lets him down. But in saying that, if he's switched on and he's got his A game with him, man, he can carve up those big opposition players like nothing. And let's hope he's like that when the game kicks off at 6 tonight.
Yeah. Well, one of the interesting things I also wanted to mention, of course, was the fact that they don't have Akira Ioane. That he wasn't even picked, out of a squad of 51, he couldn't even make the 51. He couldn't even make the 51, and he's been playing some awesome rugby. Not just has he been playing some awesome rugby, he's been around the All Black environment for at least a year now, just being part of the All Black environment, and he still wasn't even be able to make a squad of 51. What do you read into that?
Yeah, well, that just goes to show the depth of the ABs, and it's good having players of that calibre still on the sideline, if you need to call them in. But I can see what Shag's doing. He's trying to blood those young players now, with a few games away from the 2019 World Cup. So I think it's a good move, and just to have knowing peace of mind that you have got players like him still, back home here or on the sideline there. Sort of, if you need to call them up, as sort of peace of mind, I reckon. So, yeah, I think he's going to trial tribulation with a lot of these young players and see how they do. And as I say, now's the time to start sort of experimenting with them before the big event next year.
Should he have started with the game tonight? I mean, yeah, should he have started with the game tonight? Because he hasn't really. There's no newbies in tonight, but obviously there'll be some major changes in the Japan test. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I think because it's been a few games before the ABs have played, so I think he wants to get ball rolling, with a win to the boys just to get confidence gain, and then I think in the next games and on the end of the year tour, I think he'll start sort of experimenting with a lot of these young players in the key positions. But no, I think they want to get this one under their belt. It's like anything, it's like how you start something. If you start with a win, then that tends to set the platform for the next few games, and it just gives the players confidence. In saying that, it also makes it more challenging for the younger players who, will probably get a start in the next few games. It just puts a bit more pressure on them. But, that's top-class footy. And I'm sure the old and the new players know that, and they'll all be prepared. I mean, that's all part of being an All Black, I suppose. But let's say in terms of view of participation, the game's an open, free-flowing match tonight. That's what I'll be sort of keeping an eye out for. That hopefully it's an exciting game on neutral territory.
I think it'll be a game that Aussie will be desperate to win. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, no. The Wobblies are going to come out, all guns are firing. I mean, they even had a sort of a classic year, so, and up against the All Blacks, I mean, everybody wants to try and sort of beat them or tip them over. So, no, that's a given. Aussie's going to come out, and play one of their hardest games all season, and they're going to try and give it to the ABs. So let's hope, the coaches have done their work for the New Zealand boys, and no doubt they would have. And, the guys sort of just maintain their stability and just sort of keep going forward. And I reckon, it could well be, if they had their backup, they could well sort of do a lot of damage to the Aussies. It could even be a big score on Japanese soil. But, that all sort of will be seen from kickoff at about 6 o'clock this evening.
Now, also, the test that you will be looking forward to, AJT, will be the Kiwis up against England. Their series gets started, and obviously that's something you're looking forward to. 2:30 early hours of this morning here in New Zealand. What time is it? 11:30 is it over there in Aussie? You'll be watching it. Is that correct?
Yeah, 11:30 here in Queensland, Keithy, so 12:30 in other parts of Australia, New South Wales, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, looking forward to it to see if they can continue the momentum that they gained against that match against Australia a couple of weeks back. So, England beat us earlier in the year in Denver.
Yeah.
But we've got a stronger side, I feel, on paper this time around.
Yep.
We've got most of the key troops are back on the field, so, mate, should be a good game. And hopefully the boys, like I said, can maintain the rage and get the win.
Of course, England, they've through injury, have lost a number of pretty key players in their group, haven't they?
Yeah, so I think Sammy Burgess is out. Gareth Widdop's also probably out. And so that's two big names right there from the NRL. I'm not too sure if James Graham's playing. I've just been on the NRL website trying to bring up the English side, but I haven't got any information on it. So, yeah, mate, at the end of the day, who cares? Worry about what our boys do and worry about their preparation and how they perform. So, yeah, a good chance, like I said, to build on that momentum and get on the front foot for the series. It's a 3-match series, and good luck to the boys.
Yeah, very much good luck to them, and looking forward to the whole series. But this first game, you've got to say, it's got to be a key game.
Oh, as in any sport where there's a 3-match series, it's key to get on the front foot and get the win first up to put the pressure on the opposition, whether it's cricket, rugby union, state of origin, even it's a 3-match series. So you want to get that win, that tick in the win column and move on to the next one and hopefully wrap it up and then who knows from there. In saying that, it's not going to be easy for the boys. It's foreign conditions over there. The English crowds are right on top of you. The stadiums are almost like boutique-like, and the crowds are quite, they're very passionate. The fans of the north of England. Mate, just can't wait. It's a long time coming. Boys haven't toured England for a fair while, so bring it on. Yeah,
that's a really good point, though. The crowds, and it seems like so jam-packed in. The crowd, it seems like it could be like what it looks like is they're just a few meters away from the actual field, and that, I guess, can bring a bit of a different, temperament or sort of thing. Would you say there, JT?
Oh, definitely. When the crowd's right there, you can hear them calling your names and whatever else, and rubbishing you. And all that sort of stuff. So a lot of those grounds in England are typically a lot smaller than the ones we have in this part of the world, but they do jam them in, and they create quite a bit of noise. That is probably just the culture over there. They like sitting at the games. You look at the football, the rugby, in particular the Welsh crowds in rugby.
Yeah.
So the problems get right into it. And next week's the second test is interesting. It's at the home ground of one of the most famous football clubs there is, Liverpool, at Anfield. So that'll be another feather in the cap for the boys. They've been played at the Denver Broncos ground this year, and now at Anfield as well. So, cool,
awesome. Now, of course, you got to be looking forward to that Kiwis test up against England as well. There, Ra.
Oh yeah, look, it's going to be huge. I mean, there's after the winning against Aussie, I think there's probably been a whole lot of new Kiwi Rugby League fans to this new young side. And look, the Poms are going to be aware that the Kiwis will be quietly confident. And at the end of the day, the men in black, they can do the deed if they play a similar game, I believe, to the one against Aussie. They go out there and sort of give it all they've got and utilise a lot of those young and upcoming players. And the early season loss that they had against the Poms will all be forgotten about. But yeah, it is going to be a mammoth task playing over there, and I think you've always sort of made the comment that their stadia, how close the crowds are, and you can pretty much hear what they say. That's how close to the field it is, and let's hope that doesn't sort of become a distraction for the Kiwi boys. But no, I think if they maintain a similar game that they played against Aussie, they go out there with a bit of confidence and make their first up tackles and make sure that when they do their hit-ups, that they can score from a lot of their go-forward play. I think they'll probably have the Poms on the ropes. But, as we know, the Poms, they're going to go the distance. We always see them trying to go the distance. They've got one of those teams tend to do that. So it's going to be a great game. But I'm going to put my money on the Kiwis.
Yeah, I reckon too. Anyway, we are going to go to a break. We're going to have more Full-Time coming your way after this.
You're listening to a podcast produced by Tūrangi FM, #1 iwi radio station in Aotearoa. We play each Full-Time session on Tūrangi FM Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. You can listen in live on our Tūrangi FM media page. Just click the main Tūrangi FM logo to tune in online. Or if you're in the Gisborne area, we're on the radio frequencies 91.7, 95.7 and 98.1. Also check out the Full-Time Facebook page where you can listen to the podcast again. Make comments and click links that will lead you to other ways to listen to the podcast, such as Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, Podchaser and Tumblr. Right, let's get back to the Fools on Full-Time.
Welcome back to our second session here on Full-Time. Of course, sending a shout out to our sponsors, Grace Greg Motors down there on Grey Street. Want to send out a big shout out also to our former boss here of Tūrangi FM. Now he's going to be heading up. Well, hopefully he's going to be heading up to Rotorua. Of course, we've got our Māori Radio Awards, the Iwi Radio Awards. Coming up later on tonight, and our boss, or our former boss, Fred Maynard, he's been our nomination. He's the only nomination to make a finalist for best contribution to Iwi Radio. So best of luck goes out to the boss. Yes, indeed, that's right. Our only nomination.
I thought it was a certain breakfast show. Nomination.
I'm as shocked as you, JT. I'm as shocked as you.
Across the Tasman Sea, bigger than a tsunami.
I reckon. But hey, good luck. Good luck to Freddie tonight, and
yes.
Let's hope he can sort of bring home the bacon. And of course, Keithy and JT, today's the last day of us holding the title of
yes.
Station of the Year from last year. So, the best of luck goes out to whoever takes it out. This time around.
Yes, indeed. Very best of luck. And of course, we'll obviously have that information for you maybe Monday, probably on Monday. Anyway, from what I understand, the gorge is closed. So if you're heading out of town or up north somewhere, the gorge has been closed due to a crash. So I'm not sure when it'll be cleared, but just travel easy if you are travelling away. Anyway, back to sport now. JT, what are the chances of the Kiwis, being able to tip up England in this particular test that'll be on early hours of the morning here?
Well, I think based on previous encounters, you'd have to say England would have to go as favourites. It's in their backyard. But the Kiwi boys have they got some momentum. They've been in training camp before the Aussie game. They're on a tour now, so they get to build combinations, build familiarity. So it's just going to come down to the 80 minutes on the field. Hopefully, Dylan Watene-Zelezniak can lead the boys with a lot of money and a lot of pride like he did last time.
Mm.
If they can follow him around the field and get stuck in and not be complacent, then anything's possible with the side.
Yep. And they've gone with a pretty much the same team as they had that beat the Aussies, aren't they?
I think from what I've seen, it's the exact same side. So no room for Jerome Hughes.
Right.
Coming forward as it's missed out. So basically the same side. I'm just a bit critical of, and I'm sorry, Kenny Mamalo. I know you've got some talent there, brother, but surely there's a better winger than him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In particular, who would you have picked there, JT?
Well, I think eventually once RTS comes back into calculations, I think Dylan will revert back to the wing where he plays for his club side, Penrith. So,
right.
Yeah, at this stage, probably, Mamalo is in there maybe due to that fact, or, I'm a big Jerome Hughes fan. He plays for the Melbourne Storm. He's a good utility. He plays, wing, fullback, centre, half. So I think he could have slotted in there and done a good job for the Kiwis. But, Kiwis got the jumper.